Belarus, large crowds expected in protests against Lukashenko. Large protests are expected to be held in Belarus later, calling for longtime President Alexander Lukashenko to step down as a crackdown intensifies. On Saturday, security agents in the capital Minsk detained dozens of people, mostly students, in the fourth weekend of protests. In a separate march, thousands of women chanted "Hands off the children." Meanwhile, a top opposition activist said she had taken refuge in Poland after threats from security forces. Demonstrators say the presidential election of 9 August was rigged to keep Mr. Lukashenko in office. Protesters, human rights activists, and observers have accused riot police of brutally suppressing peaceful marches. Mr. Lukashenko, in power since 1994, has accused Western nations of interfering. The protests on Sunday may be the largest yet in Minsk since the demonstrations began 4 weeks ago. Riot police have intensified their efforts to intimidate and block the flow of people heading into central Minsk while detaining those taking part in the demonstrations, our correspondent adds. Demonstrations that were first triggered by a disputed election are now just as much about the thuggish beatings and abuses that have followed. On the eve of the protests, masked security agents dragged students off the streets of Minsk and bundled them into police vans during a demonstration. Dozens of protesters were detained. Also on Saturday, leading opposition activist Olga Kovalkova said she had taken refuge in Poland, adding that she would have faced a long jail term had she not agreed to leave Belarus. She added that security forces drove her to a border post where she was able to board a bus to Poland after the driver recognized her.